Hello, everyone. This is episode 3 of Entrepreneurs and Small Business Owners, the podcast. Today, our guest will be Mr. Manny Castañeda of the Grind Boxing Academy and Fitness Center and Whatcha Craving food truck and catering here in Katy, Texas. Today, we're going to talk about motivation, entrepreneurship, ups and downs, and ins and outs of being your own boss. And with that, here we go.
From the Lagerman Creative Studios, this is Entrepreneurs and Small Business Owners, the podcast.
My name is Ingo Lagerman, and in this podcast, I'll be sitting and chatting with entrepreneurs and business owners, success stories, and maybe some not so successful stories that they learned from. Let's go. All right, this is Entrepreneurs and Small Business Owners, the podcast. I'm your host, Ingo Lagerman, and I'm sitting here with Mr. Manny Castañeda of the Grind Boxing Academy, Fitness Center, and Whatcha Cravin food truck and catering. So tell me about that, man.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for having me on, bro.
Yeah.
So the Grind Boxing Academy and Fitness Center, and also the Whatcha Cravin food truck and catering. I don't even know what to start. It's been everything's just a big mesh of time.
Yeah.
We started the food truck maybe about 5 years ago, and catering company. I grew up in the restaurant industry. I was always front of the house operations. My last position was a general manager of a steakhouse here in Houston.
Ooh.
I was doing well, but honestly, I just got tired of making everyone else money.
Yeah.
I felt I had enough training, mentorship, experience, and knowledge to make that jump. And it's been a roller coaster ever since. Been having a good time. We've had the boxing academy. I actually walked into the gym because of my health.
Okay.
It was impacting my business, just because I was tired all the time. I was sluggish. I was putting on too much weight. I walked into the gym and I fell in love with it.
Yeah. With boxing?
With boxing.
Yeah.
And I went from like 225 to 155.
Wow.
Yeah. I was feeling good. Life was better. I was able to do more things. And, an opportunity presented itself, and ended up buying the gym. Partner up with Coach Derek Collinsworth. Told him, I'll buy the gym. You run the boxing program. I'll build the business, and you build the boxers.
Nice.
And we've been doing that ever since.
You guys got quite the formula too, man.
Yeah.
How many boxers do you guys have under your umbrella?
Well, we have our two pro fighters. He coaches Quentin, and we have Robert, who is under our management company as well.
Right.
And then we have a great amateur team that we're developing. Well, he's developing, and we're just kicking ass in the ring.
That's nice, man. That's fantastic. So I wanted to ask you about food. When you were in the food industry, did you have a desire to do that, to step out on your own as a food restaurant owner, or it just kind of happened?
Honestly, I have always wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I wanted to have my own business.
Yeah.
I didn't know what.
Yeah.
When I got my first job, I was a waiter at Papacitos here in Houston, and it's been like a first date that's never ended. I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the interactions with the people, that lifestyle, and it just gradually grew. I sharpened my craft. I sharpened my skills, and along the way, I just got promoted, from server to bartender to assistant manager, from assistant manager to manager.
Wow.
To manager to district manager, from district manager to general manager.
Yeah.
And then I reached that ceiling where it was like, okay, well,
now what?
Yeah, and that's what led me to open up the food truck.
That's pretty cool, man. And let me ask you on that same point, do you think being an entrepreneur, do you think that's something inside of you, or you think that's something that can be learned?
It could be developed.
Okay.
through mentorship.
Through mentorship.
I'm a strong believer in mentorship.
Same here.
If you're, and there should be a time at all times, there should be some aspect of mentorship going on. Either you're mentoring someone or you're being mentored.
You're being mentored.
Because when you're being mentored and you have a mentor, they're able to shed that experience, that wisdom, their mistakes.
Pass that on.
And you can learn and navigate your life through that. I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and they asked, well, how do I find a mentor if there's no one around me?
Right.
Go to senior citizen homes. Visit people who want to talk.
Right.
Who've lived their life.
Right.
And it's not only going to be a blessing for them, but it's going to be a huge blessing for you.
That's a good point you mentioned that, because my wife and I were visiting her grandmother out in Arizona, and she had a good friend sitting at the table with her, and this lady had said a good thing. She said, if it ain't fun, don't do it.
Right.
She said, if it ain't fun, don't do it.
Absolutely.
And if you're going to do anything, put your all into it. And I was like, ding, it was like a light bulb moment for me when she said that. Because I was like, hey, I'm all about fun. That's me.
Absolutely.
I love that. We don't need to take ourselves so seriously all the time.
Right.
Life is, when you think about it in the grand scheme, life is pretty short. So we need to be doing things to help each other, to be having fun, and to just have a nice, good network of like-minded people around us.
Absolutely. We were having a conversation. It was a very good question. Whether it's in you, and I do think inherently as humans, it's in us.
It's something there, yeah.
Because we're creators,
right?
Right. We design things. We evolve.
We build things,
right?
We invent things.
So that's an entrepreneur spirit. But the thing is, as we were speaking earlier off air, we're programmed,
right? That gets taken away from you sometimes.
Taken us away, and they put you on this, on this course of get your education,
right?
Graduate high school, college, get in debt, and so on and so forth. That you get lost in that,
right?
And I think through mentorship, that sort of sheds light on that. It exposes, right? Because don't do something that's not fun,
exactly.
And if
that's
you
right.
do it, right, the light comes on,
right?
So yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely it's something that's in us, but also developed through time.
And let me ask you, what motivates you?
Freedom.
Yeah.
Financial freedom. The freedom to live my life the way I see fit. What's best for me and my family.
Right.
I think that's my biggest motivating factor, and a legacy.
Yes.
Leaving something for generations to come.
I like that. Yeah. And how do you stay motivated?
By grinding, getting lost in it.
Yeah.
Getting lost in the process. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm always looking for opportunities because I love that challenge. I love the startup, the process, and I think that's what keeps me motivated. Once I start to feel like I'm not getting motivated, I have to take a step back and be like, why am I not being motivated?
Okay,
because things are, if things are running smoothly, I love putting out fires. And if there's no fires to be put out, then I get bored. Right.
Yeah.
And so I go start another fire and figure out, okay, well, how are we going to control this?
Right.
And luckily, we've had a run of good fortune and through, the systems that have been developed, we're able to continue to grow.
And where did that come from?
Mentorship.
Your parents like that?
No. Mentorship.
Gotcha.
I have a mentor, Johnny V. What I spent 5 years with him, what I learned from him in 5 years would have taken me a lifetime to learn without him, if I would have learned a fraction of it.
Yeah.
He's a strong believer of stress.
Okay.
And I implement that with my teams.
Yeah.
Stress really define who you are and how you react.
Yeah, you really find out what's in here.
So you're either gonna bust or you're gonna be a diamond.
Right.
And
yeah.
And so he would stress us out. He would stress me out and stress, and
all to teach you a lesson.
all to build you up. You know, and it worked.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't always pleasant.
Right.
But I'm definitely grateful for that.
That's awesome.
It was a learning experience.
Shout out to Mr. Johnny B.
Johnny B. Yeah, he's based out of Milwaukee, and
nice.
But he's all over the place.
That's awesome, man. As I said, I worked in the oil and gas industry, and at one time I was working at a pipeline company, and I remember the CEO because I would shadow him around the company to take photographs, and he was a new CEO coming into the company, and something that stuck with me was what he said was he said, "Your career is your career. You are the facilitator of your career.
Right.
You take it where you want it to go. Don't rely on someone else for your career and your happiness." And it seemed like I needed to hear that at that moment. He said it. Shout out to Mr. Stan Horton.
There you go.
But I never forgot those words. And ever since he said that, it was a light bulb moment for me. And I was like, you know what? He's right. Because you hear a lot of people on the job complain, well, I should have got a raise. I should have got this. I should have gotten that. And then they're really disappointed and their spirits are down when that thing doesn't happen. And actually, I was working on a project, and a guy wanted me to help him develop a campaign to boost morale.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I was thinking about that. I was like, why do you have to boost morale? So that tells me something right there too.
Right.
These people are not really happy doing with what they're doing. So why do you have to come in and boost? Now I get it. He's the boss. His job is to do that. But how did their morale get lowered? Yeah. How did it get lowered in the first place? So anyway, to your point, when and how did you know you wanted to be your own boss? When did that light bulb come on for you and say, you know what? I'm going to step out there and on faith and do it myself.
Well, you know what?
You just kind of always had that?
I always kind of had that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how.
You didn't know it.
I didn't know how it was going to happen. I thought it was impossible.
Right. Which most people think that.
I didn't think it'd be possible. I thought it was for a chosen few.
Right.
And
that's to go back to being programmed from what other people told you back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I have a theory on that. I think we get asked the wrong questions growing up.
Right.
I remember growing up, the number one question that was always asked of me, and I'm talking about, even from 7, 8 years old. What do you want to be when you grow up? Right. And they're always asking you that. What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to grow up? What are you going to school for?
Right.
That's the wrong question to ask. I think that we need to be asking these young kids, what kind of life do you want to live? Do you want to travel?
Right.
Do you want to have nice things?
Right.
Do you want to be a stay-at-home mom?
Yeah.
Do you want to be a stay-at-home dad?
Right.
Do you want to live a simple life? Do you want to live a life on the farm?
You want to be a school teacher?
Do you want to be a school teacher?
You want to help people? Yeah.
Because I was having a conversation with someone, the same person yesterday, and I'm like, they were 25, and I said, let me ask you something. Think back when you were 15. I said, close your eyes, think back when you were 15. What did you want to be when you were 15? I wanted to be a teacher. I said, okay, you're 25 now. What do you do? I'm a dentist or a dental assistant. I said, okay. I said, so what you wanted to do when you were 15 and what you're doing right now, it's not the same thing.
Nope.
I said, what do you want to do when you're 35? But before I asked her, I said, what is it? I asked her, what is it that you want to do? I asked her that question. What is it that you want to be? And she goes, I want to be my own boss. And then that's when I backtracked. I said, okay, think about when you're 15. She gave me her answer. I said, you're 25. You're a dental assistant. Now, when you're 35, what do you want to be when you're 35? She goes, I want to be a hygienist. I said, no, you don't. I said, you want to be your own boss. You told me you want to be your own. You're not going to be a hygienist when you're 35.
Right.
You have that spirit in you.
Right.
Stop focusing on what you want to do and start focusing on what type of life you want to live.
Right.
Think about it. If I said, hey, you tell me what you want. I want to travel. I don't want to worry about bills. I want to do this, that, or another. I said, okay, if I can tell, does it really matter, apart from it being illegal, as long as it's legal, does it really matter what you do to accomplish those things?
Right.
She's like, no, it doesn't.
Right.
If you told me I could live a comfortable life, have a brand new car, nice house, nice clothes, go out to have steak dinners every weekend, and all I had to do was be a trash collector, I'd do it.
Right.
Or a cop or a teacher or what. It doesn't matter what I do as long as I'm living the life that I want to live.
That you plan. All right.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why we have the problem that we do with, I can't tell you how many people I know that have 4 different degrees and are not doing anything.
They're not happy doing what they're doing.
They're not even doing anything with the degrees. They're in a totally different field.
Right.
And to top all of that off, they still have all that debt.
Right.
So they're in debt.
Yeah.
They have an education that they don't use, and they're
unhappy.
They're spending their time trying to pay that off.
Trying to pay that off. Yeah.
So we need to figure out. We need to start reprogramming our kids, and it's not like our educational system is the greatest in the world.
Right. That's true.
You know, they're not teaching us the things that we need. They don't teach entrepreneurship in school.
No.
They don't teach
finance,
debt, taxes, none of that.
Yeah. Credit, how important credit is.
I have 3 things that I tell these kids. Don't get married till you're at least 28. Don't have kids until you get married. And number 3, don't mess up your credit.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Don't mess up your credit.
Man.
You do those 3 things.
Yeah.
And they've done research. They have data to support this. If you do those 3 things, you're a 75% chance of living a middle to upper middle class life.
Right.
Statistically.
And being happy.
That's the blueprint.
Right.
Don't get married till you're 28.
Right.
Don't have kids till you get married. And don't mess up your credit. And then I like to add my own little one. In your 20s, you should go out and get fired from as many jobs as you can. People look at me like, what are you talking about? I'm not saying don't show up to work and be disrespectful. What I'm saying is go out and push the buttons.
Right.
Go out and push the status quo. Push people to be great. 9 times out of 10, when you push people to be great, they'll push you out.
Right.
Because they don't want to be.
They don't want that.
They don't want that.
They want obedient.
Right.
They want you to be obedient.
And that's the best way to figure out who you are and who you're not, and what you want to do and what you don't want to do, and the life that you want to live.
Exactly.
You do that in your 20s, in your 30s, you're going to have that figured out.
That's right.
And you're going to be able to make better life decisions. Now, the only way you can really do that is if you're not married, you don't have any kids, and you don't have any bad credit.
You don't have anyone depending upon you. Yeah.
So
you can take those risks.
You can take those risks. That's why it's important to live by those 3 those 3
that's a good formula.
Guidelines.
Yeah,
it's a great formula.
Yeah.
It worked for me. I didn't get married till I was 30 and have my daughter when I was 35. But yeah, I mean, I think we need to start thinking about. We need to start changing our thinking.
That's absolutely right, man. I totally agree with that. We got to change the thinking. That's what I talk to my kids all the time. I have 3 kids. I have a 22-year-old. She just graduated college. I have a 19-year-old daughter. She's a sophomore in college. And my son is 12. And we have these table discussions all the time at dinner. And I love to pick their brains and see what their thinking is on stuff. And a lot of times we'll be talking about things and they'll repeat things that I've said to them a long time ago. And I'm okay, they're listening.
Right.
They're listening. And it's not just enough to listen. It's to put those things into practice. Yeah. Put them into practice, man. Like my daughter right now, my oldest daughter, she's an interior designer.
Okay.
Now she graduated, before she graduated college here just this past June, she already has a design job working at a firm downtown. And she's an interior designer. She's working for a firm, and she's doing exactly what she said she wanted to do.
Nice.
As I am. I've always told people I'm an artist, so I'm going to make a living being an artist. People would always tell me, you can't make a living being an artist. I'm like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can't do it. Yeah. But I'll show you.
Right.
Because an artist, they're thinking, a canvas and painting. And yeah, you can make a lot of money doing that. I can do that too. But I'm a designer. I do videos. I mean, everything is art. Art is everywhere.
Right.
So I can go anywhere in any field and be successful being an artist.
An artist is an artist. It doesn't. You can create.
Yes.
Cooking is a form of art.
Cooking is an art.
Dancing is a form of art.
Yes.
Communicating is a form
Everything
of art.
is art.
Yeah.
Clothes, designing, everything is
absolutely.
art. Art is everywhere.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say it ties into entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Okay, because an entrepreneur, you know, people talk about bad economies. Mm-hmm. I don't give a rat's ass if there's a bad economy. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be successful regardless.
Right. Yeah, it's up to me.
It's up to me.
Yeah.
There's an external economy and there's an internal economy.
Yes.
I know what I can do. I know what I can produce. I know I have my blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
Being an artist, you can create art.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But you can pick up a piece of rock and it's sand and create a beautiful picture.
Somebody's going to buy it.
Someone, Art is art.
Art is art.
Entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
There's a spirit of entrepreneurship. It doesn't matter.
That's right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the economy is looking like.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's your internal perception of it. If you have a bad attitude,
right?
If you had a bad perception of things, it doesn't matter if it's a good economy or bad economy. You're going to lose.
You're going to lose.
You're going to lose.
I agree with that.
So yeah.
I have another question on here I've written down. It said, can you describe a time when you wanted to call it quits and what kept you going?
About 2 hours ago when my stupid internet wasn't working.
Yeah, because you guys were doing your podcast earlier.
And I had to keep going because I had a guest in there.
Right. So what'd you do, man? What'd you end up doing?
You got to push through.
Yeah.
You got to push through. And with anything. Yeah. I mean, listen, the life of an entrepreneur is a roller coaster ride. It's not a straight line by any stretch of the means. You're going to have days.
Peaks and valleys.
You're going to have days where you want to pull your hair out. You're going to have days where you're like, oh, yes, this is why I'm doing this.
I want more days like this.
Right.
Yeah.
But you got to have grit. You got to have tenacity.
Yeah.
And you got to have faith and believe in what you're doing, and your why. Yeah. You always got to remember why you're doing things.
Yeah. You just touched on it, but that was my next question. What advice would you give to anyone who's looking to step out on their own?
Do it. Jump.
Yeah.
Jump. The hardest part is taking that first step.
Yeah.
And look, there's no right or wrong in life. Right. You know, when and I think that's one of the best advice that I've gotten. Well, it was a life-changing piece of advice. I was thinking about taking a position with a company, and it was really tough. It was a lot of money, but I knew it was going to be high stress. I knew it was going to be very demanding. Mm-hmm. I had just gotten married. I didn't know if it was going to be the best decision. Mm-hmm. And I remember someone came to me and they said, "Listen, there's no right or wrong answer. If you want to take the job, take it. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to take it and stay where you're at, be comfortable, that's fine too. Right. The important thing is you make a decision, right, and don't look back. Don't look back. Exactly. And it's true. It's true. You know, you talk about people who say you can't do this and you could. Yeah, you're right. You're going to fail. You're right. Mm-hmm. I am going to fail, but I'm going to get back up. I'm going to learn from it. Keep going. Yeah. I'm not going to run back. Right. And I'm not going to look back and say, "Oh, I shouldn't have jumped. I shouldn't have started this. I shouldn't," because you're gonna drive yourself mad. Right. And you're never going to get anywhere. You're never going to progress. Man. I love failing. I love failing because that's something that I'm going to learn and never do again. Right. And that's your path. And failure is 100% part of the success. That's a part of it. Big part of it. Yeah, you can from Steve Jobs. Yeah. To Tesla. Yeah. To Oprah. Oprah. Everyone. Everybody. To Michael Jordan. Yeah. The greatest basketball player of all time. Yeah, I love that quote where he always talks about how many shots he missed versus the ones he's made. He's missed way more than he's made. Right. Thousands upon thousands of shots that he's missed. Yeah. And we don't see that behind the scenes stuff. Right. That's where the grind happens, is that behind the scenes stuff. Absolutely. And that's what the grind is doing something over and over and over and over again. Developing your system. And perfecting it. Mm-hmm. And that's the process. I love the process. The thing is, listen, I stated earlier, I'm happy because at the end of the day, everything's my fault. Mm-hmm. I take full responsibility for everything. Mm-hmm. Not because it's an ego thing or it's that if I give someone else the power to make me feel a certain way, I lose.
Right.
I have to take responsibility for everything.
Yes.
I have to be aware that at the end of the day, I have a choice to make.
I love that. Yeah.
And with that same mindset, being an entrepreneur has nothing for me. Mm-hmm. Okay? And this is so important. Being an entrepreneur has absolutely nothing to do about money.
Right.
I don't do
It's
this
freedom.
for the money.
Like what you said earlier.
It's
freedom. Yeah.
And opportunity.
Yeah.
It gives me opportunity to do other things. The money that's generated, the capital that's generated, it's just getting invested into other areas.
Love
other
that.
Things. And it's keeping me in the game. Mm-hmm. It's keeping me motivated. Mm-hmm. It's keeping me in the grind.
Keeping you energetic.
It's giving me that purpose.
Because you're probably the healthiest you've been
ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And
you're in control. You're in the driver's seat.
Absolutely.
Y'all hear
mentally,
that? Check it out.
Mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's my goal. Mm-hmm. One of the goals is to be the best possible me.
The best Manny.
That's why everything is my fault. Mm-hmm. Right? How can I perfect? I don't want to be perfect.
Right.
I'm never going to be perfect.
Right.
But I want to be the best possible Manny. I want to be the perfect Manny because I believe there is.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that perfect Manny is perfect. I'm just saying that
better than you were yesterday.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Better than the previous Manny.
Always getting better.
That's what I'm striving for too. At the same time.
To when it's all said and done, say, okay, I lived a life on my terms. Yeah. And I grew, and I'm very happy. Yeah. With no regret. Regret is like cancer.
Exactly.
And I don't want to live that. I don't want to go back and look and be sitting in a home or whatever and be like, what if?
Right.
What if?
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
Why didn't I do that? Why didn't I do this?
I'd rather fail.
Yeah.
All day long.
That's absolutely.
All day long.
I love that, man. Mm-hmm. It's like when you touched on looking back. When I was working at a pipeline company, I was a graphic designer, senior graphic designer at an oil company. The distance between a graphic designer and the CEO is tremendous. Right. You really don't have access to people like that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I like this guy. This guy's a real guy. Mm-hmm. And so some of the senior vice presidents used to come up to me because they'd see us at these assemblies, and I'm off to the side recording, and he would walk in and come straight over to me, and we'd chit-chat, and he'd giggle and laugh and walk off and then go do his presentation. And a couple of guys came to me, say, hey, man, how do you do that? And I said, how do I do what? And he goes, how do you talk to him like that? Because I said, he's just a regular guy. Right. I said, have you ever gotten to like talk to him? He can tell if you're trying to massage him a certain way. I said, this guy's been in the game for a long time. Right. Just approach him man to man and just talk to him. Right. Just have a conversation with him. So anyway, fast forward, I'd ended up getting laid off from that company. The company had done some layoffs, and I was one of the ones that was laid off in this whole tier. They had 4 tiers. I was one of the last ones to get laid off. And I said, you know what? And I thought about it. I said, no, I don't think I want my job back. But if I could ask you, would you write me a letter of recommendation? And he said, you got it. I'll do that. So he wrote me a letter of recommendation, a CEO at a major oil company. And people are like, how'd you get him to do that? I asked.
All right.
I asked him.
All right.
We got to know each other. We got to talking to each other. And I figured that's the whole teach a man to fish thing. You know, you can feed a man for a day, or you can, I was like, I'm going to look out for myself. Just like he said, ding, your career is in your hands. Take charge of your career. I asked. He said yes. And the worst thing he could have said was no. No, I'm not going to do that. He said yes. Knowing him, I knew he would say yes. Wrote me a letter. It's on my LinkedIn page. And here we go.
See, and it's like you said, you know, people can read you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And people want to help or be a part of someone that is genuine and wants to be great.
Yes.
You'll never see a great person not be great to people who want to be great, or teach someone who you'll never see a great person not teach somebody who wants to learn.
Right. Yeah.
It won't happen.
Right.
Because it's a part of being great. If you're a great person, if you're a great leader. Now, there's bosses that might have a high position.
Right.
But might be worth a damn.
Yes.
But they're not leaders.
Right.
Great leaders get excited about teaching someone who wants to learn.
Right.
And I think that's one of the issues that we have right now with the younger generation.
Right. Keep talking.
Is they say they're hungry, but they don't want to eat. Right. And they're like babies. You ever try to feed a baby and they have they're pushing the food away? You know, and they're making a mess. You'll see a lot of these young people, as you know, being in the position that I am, I'm trying to instill some experience and knowledge, and they're doing this. I don't want it. And then 5 minutes later, it's like, well, how come you get to do this? And how come you get to do that? And I want to be like this, and I want to be like, nah, it don't work that way. You want to do what I do?
Right.
You got to do what I do. The whole thing.
You have to grind.
There ain't no, you know, I'm just going to pick and choose.
Yeah.
You have no idea what it took. You know, I laugh sometimes when people tell me, well, you don't know what it's like to struggle. You don't know what man, let me tell you something.
You just see what I'm doing now. Yeah.
I was homeless.
Wow.
I was sleeping on a train. I would sleep on trains and buses at one point in Chicago. Mm-hmm. I didn't have nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. And they tell me I don't know what it's like. It's amazing. Yeah. And I consider it a blessing because it's, you know, I've come such a long way, but it's amazing how, you know, what kids take for granted, what the younger generation is taking for granted. That drive, man, you got to have that drive. Entrepreneurship is one thing, but that drive and that tenacity. Right. You want to have audacious dreams, you got to take audacious.
You have to take big steps.
Big steps.
Big steps.
It's not easy.
That's awesome.
Simple.
Yeah.
It's very simple. I tell people all the time, it's super simple.
Right.
It's work. That's the answer.
Don't make easy hard.
Yeah. Oh, but they do. We love people. We love to make things hard.
Yeah.
We love to make things hard. But listen, success is not a mystery. Mm-hmm. It's not. You don't. It's not. It's not. It's very, very, very simple.
Right.
Hard work.
I would agree with that, man.
Hard work. Just find out what it is that you want to do, and I think that's one of the biggest things too. People don't know what it is that they want to do. Yeah. And that's why I advise people. That's true. That's why I advise people to go out in your 20s and get fired from as many jobs as you can, because then that'll help you figure out what it is that you want to do, what brings you joy. Mm-hmm. And then you can double down on that. Say, okay, well, I love doing this. Let me focus on how I can. And it doesn't matter what it is. You can collect baseball cards, and you know, you can collect comic books. You can, you know, whatever it is that you want to do, and make a lot of money. Doing what you love to do. But I think one of the things is figuring out what it is that you want to do.
Figuring out what it is. Yeah, I love that, man. And with that, man, I'm just gonna say thank you for your time. This is Mr. Manny Castañeda of the Grind Boxing Academy and Fitness Center, and Whatcha Cravin Truck and Catering. And what's your social media? Tell them how to get in touch with you.
At Manny Castañeda on Facebook, Instagram, and then you can follow us on Whatcha Cravin, Food Truck, Instagram, Facebook, the Grind Boxing Academy, Facebook and Instagram. And then you can follow us on. We have our Soap Boxing podcast, social media, Facebook and Instagram, and then Soundbites HTX as well.
Nice. That's what's up, y'all. Y'all check them out.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Manny Castañeda. I appreciate your time.
Man. Thanks for having us.
We gone.
Thank you for listening to Entrepreneurs and Small Business Owners, the podcast. If you like what you hear, follow us on Instagram at ESBO_the_podcast. Also, subscribe to us on SoundCloud.